So... Volko's thing was... What's this thing? There. I don't know if I'll be able to finish this because I do need to sleep, but try it on. I think there are only 2 story missions left though, so we're almost done with this game. What's up, y'all?
Welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Enjoy the evening, sir. There is still plenty of time before the grand finale.
All right.
Oh my. Interesting event, I suppose. How's that man playing the piano blindfolded? Okay. Who's that? I didn't ask to be looking at this. My eyes. My eyes!
What if I write an article about these people here? Can you help me gather information about Cordona's elite? The wine vapors from here will be enough to get me tips. My goodness, Sherlock, they made a blood fountain.
No, John, it's definitely not blood, just wine. Cahors at a guess.
We were supposed to do that, but... do his challenge first, if I can.
Nancho's had to enforce the masks after this.
Discovered the identity disclosure scandal. What? Wait, I did it though.
Nancho's had to enforce.
I'm getting whipped. Offended Duchess. Ooh. Cheating girl. And... ooh. Ho ho ho. He just got a scandal from a previous party. Vice Governor Crowden was found by his wife to be a Prussian Duchess in the company of young men. Although the marriage was intended to be a political one, the emotions of the Duchess were real. Wait, what? Oh my. The incident instigated a political crisis between Cordona and Prussia. Though there were only a few notes of protest, the governor fired his protege.
That's what I like about this party. Bring me more dirt, Sherry.
That's a big butt.
One more piece, and I can expose these base hedonists.
Oh my. Alright. It's a little too adult action happening over there. Oh, fudge.
Sherlock, friend, I wasn't sure you'd come.
I didn't know he'd be here. Dang it. Did I fail the challenge?
Werner, I see you are not yourself.
The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer.
And what is on offer today?
Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not?
Those who know me would say I'm incapable of it.
Nonsense. I refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes.
You may be right.
Then free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young, and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memories.
I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing than expected. I'm less confident in my life and myself Time of relaxation seems a distant dream.
So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course, and something to smoke, or perhaps an artificial paradise? Yes, something more spiritual, a potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
That would be reckless. That would be pointless.
My mind is my most valuable asset, and a finely tuned instrument I will not risk impeding its function. My ultimate duty is to provide the world with truth, and I do that perfectly well as is.
Duty? You've never cared about that before.
Of course I do. Exposing a lie, revealing a fact, that is a moral responsibility.
That's not morality. Morals are what happens afterwards when truth collides with consequence. Do you ever follow up on cases you solved? Do you ever see what happened next? Visit the victims? Ensure justice is served in the courts? And how do you choose where to direct your attention?
I guess
Are
we'll
there
go
not
through this
deserving
dialogue and
causes
see if
to
I can
which your
still
brilliance could be applied,
do
but isn't?
John's challenge.
You ascribe me more power than I possess. I have a narrow skill set and work within that mandate. What occurs afterward is irrelevant.
With every action or inaction, you place a finger on the scales of morality. Many in the city would see you as abdicating your responsibility.
I haven't.
Not me, of course. Morality is subjective, just like truth. There is little to be gained from indulging in it, and far better things to indulge in. Now I must insist on easing any burdens I've placed upon your shoulders. Show yourself a kindness, and try this rather delectable concoction.
I am perfectly capable of coping with myself without medical assistance.
Then I shall press you on it no further. But please do not refuse my gift. Take it with you as a souvenir of this special night.
Souvenir of what, exactly? But, all right, if only to put the matter to bed.
And now, our evening begins in earnest. I just remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library.
Pardon? Altar room? What now, Werner?
Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can make him talk. I'll join you in a minute.
Fabio. Okay. Is there actually anyone back here in the... Ah! It'd be fun if there wasn't actually anyone back there. This is... What's this?
Curtains
Whoa,
do
what the
not
fudge?
guarantee privacy.
And
I'm
you still
coming,
need
Sherry.
a crack, despite being
Just
ethereal.
Give me another
my.
second.
You know what was here before Mancho's family bought.
Theory history of the mansion. Spacey, this is for...
You know what was here before
Alright,
Mancho's
well,
family
I know what this
bought.
building's for then. No kids allowed. No magic circle. For Mancho's family, the mansion was owned by an occultist architect dedicated his life to conduct a powerful ritual from the Forgotten Tome, but the ordinary magic circle was too weak for it. That was why he built this mansion. A keen eye might notice that its shapes correspond with certain magical symbols in some walls of cavities. One day, the architect simply disappeared, and ashes on the floor was all that remained. Perhaps he was successful in his endeavor.
I'll pin them down with this scoop. Thank you, Sherlock.
Ba ba ba. Walling in the mud with Cordone's elitist. Space they do here to get their party on, huh?
One of these books must open a secret passage. I know it.
Codex Orcus. Why does this occult book sound like a flower?
That's true. Oh. Interesting paintings, I guess. What the fudge? This is like a sacrificial
God.
table? What the heck?
Was he here this whole time?
What the fuck? What a weird... Okay.
A blunt-force trauma may have suffered an internal hemorrhage. This golden handle has a bloodstain on it. The dagger is heavy and sharp, but lacks balance.
So it's literally a sacrificial...
This
a
worm-like
sacrificial
sigil
dagger.
has been drawn with his own blood. The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart.
Okay, what's this? Oh.
This crude tattoo partially covers a slave branding. The victim has clenched the fabric so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to remove it. He died right here.
Jeez. What the fudge?
Oh, these crime scenes.
This
always
elaborate
outdo my
box must be
imagination.
for the ritual dagger. The herbs here are Salvia divinorum. They have a slight hallucinogenic effect to emphasize the ceremony. This oil has a slight aroma of flowers and olive. The ointment smells mouse-like. I presume it is an aphrodisiac prepared from a Spanish fly.
What?
This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus, drawn in a hurry.
Oh my gosh, where'd you come from? The fudge? That's an interesting photo. Or painting, rather. Cigars.
Enough cigars to burn down the entire mansion.
One is slightly lit. It's for some...
Why don't people tidy up after themselves?
Yes, I agree, sir. Stain?
An open wound spoiled the carpet.
Is there a wound on the carpet? Not from the bottle. Oh, what the...
Blood. A sturdy bottle met a not-so-sturdy human. It didn't break only because it was unopened.
Is that why they don't break? It has to be open for it to break? Oh, I guess because the air? I don't know. Okay.
What about a quick pillow fight?
Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set. Similar to the
Huh.
guests' robes, apart from the bloodstains.
So, is Fabio a guest and he was just killed? Or my Fabio?
Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks.
Ponchos.
There's also a note. For my Fabio, Manchos.
These are like cuffs. There's a key for...
The capital F on the
Fabio?
key fob might refer to Fabio. The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me.
Or mass.
Would you recognize me in one of these? I suppose not.
Okay. Smoking lounge. We gotta check that.
This is a different ritual.
Famous scenario, some ritual marker in the beginning. Read and rehearse this right. Monchios. The naked woman lies on the altar on a bed of flowers, symbolizing Mother Gaia. Like a cult? Is that what this is? Oh, let me close my door. Whoa! Almost dropped my headphones. Boop, boop. Boop-a-doop-boo. Hoo. The one who leads the ritual oils the body of the woman to awaken her inner fertility. What The fudge. Participants should chant at this moment and call for the man who can please Mother Gaia. Then the man who will impersonate the principle of life may come to engage in sexual congress with her. Okay.
A useful tool for a disguise arsenal.
Don't ignore the guests, Matista, and stop boring them. They don't want to hear about your stupidities. They want to feel how beautiful they are. Gross. How generous you can be towards them. You're here to please and celebrate life. Remember, each guest paid a great deal to be with you.
How can anyone accept such behavior?
Yeah, okay. What was the outfit that's missing?
Identical to the robes the guests are wearing. Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set. The pitcher is empty, but with puddles around it.
So someone used it.
Blood
And
clots
more
are
blood.
adhered to the sides of the drain.
What else is note in here? No. Okay, so let's follow the bloodstains.
The wounded person was here for some time. A bloody handprint on an armchair.
Let's just go. Oh?
A person leaned against the doorframe. They left a smudged trail of blood. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar.
Okay. So I clearly probably have to talk to him about this. He appears out of nowhere.
Werner, care to explain what is going on here?
On nights like these, it's not unusual for some attendees to get a little exuberant. It's part of the appeal. Unfortunately, it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder.
That's murder, bro.
I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts. But I'm glad I thought to call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right. Then pull yourself together, Werner.
Out nights like these.
What is it about these nights that you were so eager to share with me?
Well, they're not always in the evenings, but they are in the shadows. People gather to test their boundaries in a safe and consensual atmosphere, often with more stains than your typical
Safe
crime
and
scene.
consensual.
But
I don't
that
know
is the
about that
point.
one.
Who are we to judge?
I suppose that's fair. What about today, then? Was anything different?
Well, I was invited as a special guest. It was supposed to be a time of both divine and carnal pleasures. A scratch for every unconventional itch.
I imagine you're reeling from your shattered expectations.
On the contrary, there is still spectacle, stimulation, and release, merely in a different form. I like to let life entertain me.
Or death.
Who is Mr. Manchios?
Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
You cannot begin to imagine.
The police know
The
nothing.
police remain unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things. But we didn't want the authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes you more than a good mystery.
How'd you find the body?
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Huh, who knows? I found him alone on the altar, his blood dripping to the floor.
And then?
Then I called Mr. Manchios. He was panicking, so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door. Then we were
Filling time?
waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged, perhaps.
Did you know the victim?
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to.
Oh, so he
His
wasn't supposed to be
beauty
killed.
was the talk of the island. Too handsome
Alright.
to go unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance, and more.
Tell me about the ritual.
What about the fertility ritual? There was something about Fabio being a principle of life.
Fabio was supposed to portray the beauty of life's origin. Flowers, oil. Not this travesty that seems straight out of the Inquisition.
So this ritual is not the fertility rite. What was it meant to look like?
It begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar. She represents Gaia, the earth. As I cover her in oils, we chant for the principle. As our calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be ashamed of, but it would explain the color of your cheeks. The fertility rite marks the start of our festivities. The principle of life is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
Yet it appears that someone did stop it. What about the naked woman? Can you tell me anything about her?
Oh yes, Matista. She's one of Fabio's compatriots and a performer too. I haven't seen her today, actually.
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later only to find the lock was not blocked?
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
So, Sherry, do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps. I think I can deduce what happened here. The sign reminds me of the astrological symbol for Mars.
Oh, Venus and Mars, I see. Huh. Someone locks the door from the other side. It has to be the stab. Okay, for here. Maybe? No, you're not stabbed here. You're stabbed at the table for sure. So you get bonked. I think you try to run. Which means that you had to fight before you get stabbed, maybe. This him being strength. It is. That doesn't make sense. He has to get stabbed there. Like here's where what's her name was. Maybe? No, it's the other person. And the other person again puts their clothes away. This maybe?
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
It's not. Is it actually this? He drags him? I guess so. Makes sense I would be able to escape. It should work. There we go.
The bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge. Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you all right? You're on the floor, not moving.
I think I know what happened here.
He's just swimming. Okay. Murderer had a key to the altar room. Oh, it's killed in a ritual murder. Cypher's not during an occult ritual. Or the ritual was a cover. Ritual was clearly a cover. It's fine.
I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Fabio was stabbed.
I see nothing gets past you, Werner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding
Excuse me.
in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all.
And next I need to...
The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar room?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
Okay.
I know you can untangle this mess.
Mask, golden stars. Literally hear noises in the rooms. It's wonderful. Oh, is it this guy? Must be
Kurt
this guy.
Manchios, I presume. I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Werner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man. Can I call you Sherlock?
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
What about Fabio?
Did you know Fabio well?
People are starting to look at us, Sherlock. Change the subject. I can't believe what happened to him. To me. Such an atrocity. Think what it means for me. A wonderful evening for so many good, influential, and rich people has been ruined. I have betrayed all my promises of exotic delights.
I don't understand. Surely a murder would affect your reputation to a greater extent.
Please, isn't this why you are here? I thought you were a silent magician. Do your tricks and make it go away.
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
Santos? Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
Where can I find Santos?
I'd like to
and
speak to
Matista?
Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on?
Either gunshots or someone just broke in.
Praise filth. You're under
There it is.
arrest.
What is that? What did they just shoot? Sting operator? Oh my gosh, that guy should not be alive after that. He would be severely injured. Okay, she's in the corner crying. Oh, but now the culprit can get away. What the heck? Why are you on that? You gotta shoot? Oh, that's me.
Committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience. Your Grace.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we had Vogel in his letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig. Ah, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
You knew my mother?
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
You must help me.
You must help me. It would mean a great deal to me if you could find any information about that day.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only, to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from him. If you
Degenerate.
slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.
I'm glad we managed to get the scoop before the raid.
Face mask. I can't change clothes here. Majordomo? Police arrested me during the raid of Monchio's mansion. Oswald freed me. Bob received expensive cufflinks as a present from Monchio's. I, Santos Pinchetti, am a witness who reports suspicion of murder at Mancho's mansion's Grand Surrey. Loud noise in the closed altar room. I thought attackers are living being overviewed by none other than Kurt Manchios. Following a report from a witness of the satanic ritual who claimed to have found a body at the raid of the Manchios mansion, was granted. A result in the arrest of multiple suspects and observed the group in mass and robes caught in acts of gross indecency and unnatural behavior. The body of the victim was found lying on an altar with a knife wound in his chest. Officers identified the victim Fabio 20, a local performer and artist. Suspects V. Vogel had a letter of insulting nature in his possession which had been written by the victim. He claims to have found the body. He is infamous for his eccentric personality. Holmes carried a murder weapon, a dagger with the victim's blood and other arms evidence. He was invited by another suspect, V. Vogel, presumably to obstruct the official investigation. Monchios, the owner of the mansion, organized a satanic party, paid the victim to participate in the ritual and had access to this crime scene. And Batista, Fabio's partner and participant in the ritual, tried to escape, resisted arrest, owned a book with a description of the ritual performed in the altar room. Some of the guests are temporarily detained for further questioning. Here are the keys.
Back on track to solve the case.
And Brido's ticket has permission to inspect all evidence on case number 62 through 60. Okay.
Look, I found Werner.
What up, babe?
Werner, are you all right?
Oh, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go. They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
I have no reason to lie for him, though. Not like we're super close. Plus, if you're innocent, then I don't need to lie for you.
There are lines I will not cross, Werner. I will do my best to secure your release, but with proof, not deception.
Really? How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another?
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
Alright, let's talk.
I'm not supposed to know anything about this.
Cool.
I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I can't follow you here. I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
I have learned who told the police about the crime. It was Santos Pinchetti,
Do I know him?
the major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you.
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him.
Alright. Pinchetti's a suspect who should be arrested and questioned. He had a key which he had not mentioned in his deposition. Makes it perfect to tell Constable Oswald. What's this Autobot? Oh, that's what's his name. And it looks like a pirate. Where is the guy? Where is the constable? Am I blind? Oh, he's in the archive, right? Yeah.
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here. They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
You can question Mr. Pinchetti in the interrogation room.
Evidence is over here, right?
Good day. Your ticket, please, if you want me to help you.
I'd like to check the evidence from this case.
And who are you?
Oswald sent me. I'm a consulting detective.
His partner, then? Let me see. Ah, a ritual murder. What a bunch of degenerates. Wait a second. I'll bring it to the table.
Degenerates. Whew.
A heavily perfumed handkerchief with the initials KM in the corner.
Hurt staff.
It's a miracle this ruby hasn't tempted anyone. All the keys of the mansion on one golden ring.
Werner Vogel.
An emergency kit for boredom.
There. Letter was found in Vogel's evidence box. Is your mind unsound? Can't control your bitterness, not around me anyway. For me, it's too great a risk to ignore that kind of behavior. I can speak, and play with anyone I choose. I'm not another Matista. You pay me, but you haven't bought me. Of course, I'll keep all your generous donations, even though they hardly compensate for your last terrible outburst. I'm leaving you, although Matista will still be around.
Not the time for privacy. Werner's personal sketchbook.
The letter was for. This is Matista.
A handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings. Her key to the altar room. That's not for bedtime reading. This Ex Libris belongs to Manchios Library.
Police found this occult book in Matisse's bag during the arrest. According to the Ex Libris, the tome was taken from Mr. Manchio's collection. It contains illustrations and descriptions of a ritual similar to the crime scene. Prepare the naked body of a recently deceased object of interest. Draw symbols of Mars and Venus to enhance the power you possess. Use the force of male and female nature. Pierce his heart with a golden dagger to rid of the blood that does not love you. Draw a symbol representing your love while waiting for the resurrection. Recite the charm. So...
The book describes a ritual similar to the one performed in the altar room. Thank you, officer.
Am I to believe that essentially what happened was that she likes him, and because he didn't like her, he killed him? Guess we're gonna have to talk to all of them first. One, two, three. Guess let's talk to this guy first.
Good day, Mr. Manchios. I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers. The new blood here.
If you cooperate in finding Fabio's murderer, there will be no need to meet with the Boers again.
That voice. Werner's friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy after all.
I need to examine you first.
Oh boy. Feels like it's gonna be a long case. Might stop seeing Roger's makeup. Red spots. Here, so he looks younger than he should. Washed hands in a hurry. Why are you washing your hands in a hurry, bro? He hides his age. Extremely rich, eccentric, and frivolous, he is the organizer of the parties for Cordona's elite and the owner of Manchio's mansion. He spends his life in the company of similarly overprivileged people. However, Mr. Manchios wishes to hide his true age from the participants of his parties. He is concerned with aging to the point where he uses makeup and hair dye to look younger. Nah, he hides his age. Come on. He uses hair dye to clean? No, that's so dumb.
You are a little over the top with your use of makeup, Mr. Manchios. Is it so difficult for you to acknowledge your age?
Well, Sherlock, that's easy for you to say to an old man when you look as though you are barely 15.
But still, it shouldn't be an issue for someone of your status.
For people of my age, it isn't an issue, no. But the younger ones can be so afraid of wrinkles and grey flecks. I have to adapt.
Such a methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient, or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
What was Fabio like?
What was Fabio like? His personality, his habits? Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties. Young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to mention his beauty. Otherwise, I'll be sobbing.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances were flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of money?
Possibly. What about the other guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services.
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
Did you invite?
I'd like to know who you usually invite to your parties.
Free minds who are able to leave reality for an evening, who can taste forbidden fruit without prejudice. There is nothing that quite spices up life like these parties, assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country.
Oh, all true laborers, I see.
Why did you invite Vogel?
Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
Okay.
You bought an expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his price? Or were they a tip for an exclusive show?
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protege and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him.
Do you recognize this book? Could Matista have borrowed it from your library?
She didn't ask me. How ungrateful.
The things described in the book were inspiration for the rituals you performed?
Do you really believe that blood, symbols, and incantations can resurrect the dead? They are just eerie tales with a mix of occultism and voodoo. My rituals are a stage to show some of the forbidden pleasures.
Oh, seriously. Let's see.
I've read this letter from Fabio. It had no addressee, but it was found in Mr. Vogel's pocket.
Werner? Strange. I didn't think the two of them corresponded.
I'm sure there is some explanation. Would you care to read it?
Call me superstitious, but I don't care to read a letter from a dead man. I've no idea about that. That's not something I know much about.
Do you have any idea who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Manchios?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me in here.
A good guess, but the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. He has dared to besmirch my reputation.
Not a very eloquent choice of words.
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told the police.
Let's see. Bert had feelings for Fabio. Scrupulously clean. Manages himself up for debauchery. Cool. Manchos watched himself after the murder. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna do a stretch and also get a drink. I'll be right back. We're gonna try to get as far as we can with this case. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it though. It's already almost been an hour. I have to sleep soon. Hey. Hey. Hopefully, drinking this drink helps me wake up a little bit. Okay. Also, open the window. Here is not. Oh, that's very chilly. Oh, okay. Let's talk to you.
I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald. You are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. Just like Fabio.
Condolences.
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
So, symbol on your chest. You inked yourself. Hair is different colored split? Who knows you had bruises? You were also have a marking. Nervous. You were also... Oh. Self-inflicted cuts. Jeez. Well, it has to be this one. Matista, the performing Fabio's partner, has had a difficult life. She was branded enslaved while still a child. While enslaved, she met Fabio, hence their similar branding. Old scars are the result of her slavery during adolescence. She continues to be haunted by these traumatic experiences. Matista seems to be pragmatic about her body after years of abuse. She sells herself to the guests who do whatever they want to her. She's not afraid to step over the line. Also, Matista marks her body with ink. She has a genuine interest in mysticism since she has tattooed her body with occult symbols. No, I think it's this one. This one.
You have both old and new scars. Some from the time when you were a slave with Fabio. Other scars have a different origin. The guests pay good money to torment you?
I am skilled in giving pleasure, but I don't participate in such practices.
I thought your body was...
For sale? It's true. Many unwanted things were done to my body. And the pain helped me to discover...
Occult deities? Yes, the tattoo speaks loudly of it.
Yes. Your gods abandoned me, and the ones I favor now are more protective of me.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Cordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
You literally just sat down, you got back up within like 5 seconds, bro.
The bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite, sometimes.
Okay.
This book, The Power of Love, Blood, and Mandrake, what do you hope to achieve?
To learn more about the invisible strengths that govern us. Occultism is real. The master who fell that night when Fabio and I escaped, I made him fall. I cast a spell on him and it worked.
Or was it a coincidence?
The universe is rarely so lazy.
If you say so.
Okay.
I've nothing to add. I've nothing to add.
This is the letter the police found in Mr. Vogel's pocket. Fabio wrote it. Do you know anything about it?
I don't. Although I can feel Fabio's energy. It's there, but it refuses to let me analyze it.
You practice occultism.
Do you practice occult rituals?
For protection? For fortune? To wash away the ugliness of the world? Sometimes to survive. I have the gift, and I'm learning to use it better.
Did you use your gift on Fabio?
I only used white magic. Love charms lately. Fabio became so distant. I just wanted him to be with me, but I suppose I'm not as skilled as I thought.
Former slave, past history. White magic to bring back Fabio. Excuse me, white magic.
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
You have. Small note attached to the will says, Santos, my helpful slug. You begged me to include you in my will, so I did. Here's my latest revision of the will. Hurt the text of this will under the Santos Pinchetti, the major domo of the Manchios mansion, receives a jar of mustache wax and a salt lamp. What the fudge? It's nothing. That's probably why you did, didn't you? You didn't like that you're only getting wax. You didn't like it that you're only getting wax. So risen by from brutal interactions with guests during the party. Fabio Bruce Matista. I don't know, where to find him, I guess, huh? Matista used a ritual on Fabio to bring his love back. Let's switch this to this side. Let's see, so it's either her, maybe this new dude. This new dude.
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
We're gonna finish them, and I think I'm gonna stop for today. We'll just play this game again tomorrow, finish it tomorrow. Gosh, what you assholes, you also have a bruise. Just kidding, in flame skin. Colored more than once. Hey, you get treated like garbage as well? Excuse me. You stepped in blood. Santos Pinchetti is the head servant at the Manchios mansion. Despite being employed at the highest position with the household, he appears to be poor. Body shows symptoms of psoriasis. Mr. Pinchetti hides his damaged skin under layers of makeup, the majordomo's suit, and multiple holes that have been patched or sewn. To renovate the suit's look, Mr. Pinchetti had dyed it. Head servant, being employed, he appears to be poor. Despite having enough money, he spends as little as possible. Cheap makeup hides imperfections on his body. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one, I guess. Let's just go for this one.
Is your greedy nature responsible for the lack of taste and attention to your appearance? The cheap makeup, shabby and dyed clothes? How do you explain those, Majordomo?
The means to practice my profession are limited. I'm sorry you noticed it, sir.
The parties overshadowed your state. You are lucky Kurt Manchios' attention was concentrated elsewhere. In a decent household, you would be asked to leave for far less.
Yes, his attention was undoubtedly concentrated on something other than my appearance.
But one detail stands out on your dirty rags and shoes. The drops of blood.
Oh, that. I don't know anything about it.
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always, Fabio-centric?
And Matista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
Huh.
Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a major domo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love, cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a major domo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship. Please let me out.
Nope, not letting you out. Letter may have been from Manchios. Santos Minchetti's efforts in vain. He accidentally Oh.
I have reason to believe that the intended recipient of the incriminating letter may have been Kurt Manchios.
Well, that makes sense. Too bad I can't remember how I came to possess it. Though I did spend quite some time with Mr. Manchios during the party.
Unfortunately, even with an answer, that may still not be enough to clear you with the police. But fear not, I will persevere.
I hope your attempt to put things straight will make up for...
You being on a bender?
Touché.
So let's save, because I feel myself very tired. Okay. Alright. I think we're gonna stop there today, just because it is pretty late. I do need to sleep. Also, my eyes getting heavy. So, that means that next time I stream this game, maybe tomorrow, just to finish it, will be... I'll probably play until I finish. Anyways, we're gonna stop there. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching a house of nasty. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time. Tomorrow. Bye.